Welcome back to Dungeon Master's Corner. Today, we're exploring the possibility of playing new TTRPGs. Though, not by choice. Welcome to another episode of Dungeon Master's Corner. I am Brian.
And I'm Nicole.
And today, we're bringing you another story way back when we were doing our Princes of the Apocalypse campaign. Now, it's been a while, so Nicole, remind the people who you played.
I played Menelin Gallinodel, the desert elf wizard.
Yes, and why was she so squishy? What was her lowest stat there?
Strength, but her con was her second. She had a rocking 10 con because
I thought
I
you
didn't
had
know
a
how.
negative to con.
No, I had negative to strength, but I didn't know how I was building a character. I didn't know how important Constitution was. It's very important. I've learned that.
The thing that determines your hit points, yeah, it's a little important there.
Just a little bit. I've learned.
A little bit. So, this was in one of the Yawning Portal modules that we meet our characters. It was at that point, Tizel had joined us, our friend who was our Dwarven Barbarian. We, of course, had Thok and Henry, as they are known and loved. I don't think they...
was with us. Yes, he was.
He was. And then we also did have Vega still with us.
Slightly. He was in and out.
He was in and out. He had to leave early for some games, but this was the fullest the party ever was. And they were running through Tomoe-chan. I figured, a nice way to introduce Tizel's character in there, the returning to her world where everyone was searching for some artifact, working for the Zentarum, and the fun thing about Tomoe-chan is the traps.
You say fun.
There are cursed items like the Berserker Axe. Tizel got her hands on those and nearly caved in Theomin's chest.
Yeah, she did. It was her sweetheart, though.
She loved that axe. I mean, what barbarian wouldn't love a Berserker Axe? There was the creepy incident where Vega's player remembered something about the dungeon and ended up eating a human heart out of a jar because the player knew the benefit, but I, as the DM, didn't even know that was part of it. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's in there." I look at it like, "Yeah, you're right." How did Vega know that? You just ate a heart in front of people.
Just ate it and did nothing to help us not think he was a cannibal.
I think you already thought he was a cannibal prior to that.
This just helped confirm it.
Yeah, I think this is actually where the mentality, because you all had your sit-down conversation later, where everyone kind of aired their grievances, where Theomin eventually brought in the famous line, "I don't eat anything with a language."
That was when we were in a Riverguard Keep, is when that line came up. It was when we started thinking he was a cannibal. Tomoe-chan was far afterwards.
I thought that came after.
No, Tomoe-chan was the last real thing we ran with Vega.
Gotcha, because I was sitting there going, you learned a language from that. I thought that's where I got that line, but yeah, memory is a funny thing.
It was a lizard folk that brought that line on. How I don't need anything with a language, and that is one of those enduring lines from that campaign.
Life needs things to live. I don't need anything with a language.
Mm-hmm. But the traps you were talking about, how fun they are.
And creative. I mean, there are a lot of creative ones, but there was one trap, besides the Berserker Axe, besides the weird heart in a jar, that lives on in infamy with our group.
Because it almost derailed our entire campaign.
Yeah. There's a room that has a little glass sphere in it. I don't remember exactly how the trap worked.
It was in, the door.
Yeah. I just remember that the fighter and the barbarian were further back, or they weren't right next to the trap. The rogue
was checking out the trap, but we didn't have a light source, so he didn't notice it.
The Vega had left for the evening. We just kind of purple misted him out of the game. The trap goes off, and I really read it for the first time. And I'm actually curious, is it close enough at hand? There's so many rooms in this thing, and so many...
We were so done with this entire dungeon. We almost didn't take the treasure at the end because we just wanted out. And that should tell you something.
I have found it. Chamber of the Nasewa, or the Achieved Ones. All the doors bordering this lozenge-shaped room, which that's probably the funniest description to me, is that it's a lozenge-shaped room, are made of heavy bronze. Colorful glyphs are scribed on the western wall. There are 2 sideboards against the walls to the east. In the middle of the chamber are 2 stone divans, whatever, each with a human figure sketched out on them. Between them is a low stone table holding a flask and 2 goblets made of crystal. On the bottom of the crystal flask is a quantity of silver dust. The figures are male and female, each about middle age, perfectly preserved. They are very still, dust covered, blah, 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 blah. We don't care about those things. What we care about is the poison dust. The poison dust created a... Oh, this is not even the same trap. This is a different aspect of the same trap. I just realized, no, because this is when you have to drink. The other one you inhaled. This trap is used more than once in this dungeon.
That's just rude, is what that is. But it is still poison for 5,000 years.
Yeah, DC 20 Constitution saving throw or become poisoned. No, I remember. This trap isn't used twice. I was an asshole.
Oh.
I made it airborne instead of drunk.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Well, I didn't read the whole thing. Okay, we're skipping right to the end. What I learned as a DM, read the dungeon first. Because you think you're clever doing something on the fly, now that I'm remembering 5 years ago, Brian. You think you're clever doing something on the fly, like, they're not gonna drink this, so let me make it airborne, so at least, it's fun and still involved. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, that's a DC 20 con save? Oh, 5,000 years of sleep? You're unconscious but semi-aware of your surroundings, unaffected by the passage of time?
I would like to remind the listeners that I had a 10 con. I was a wizard. So we had a paladin, which helped.
If he had passed the save.
If he had passed. I also failed. Henry, who found the trap and broke it.
It was Henry. Of course he failed. Let's be honest, it's Henry.
So the 3 of us flat on our backs, just passed out. Leaving Tizelle and Thok standing there. Going, well, fuck.
The dwarf and the half-orc, with no magical abilities whatsoever, looking at them going, what do we do now? We had no way of waking them up. Vega was gone for the night. We kind of just texted him, like, can we use one of Vega's spell slots to get the paladin up?
It's like, please save us.
Yeah. So there's a joke now in our group. Because the 5,000 years of sleep, like Rita Revolta coming out of her thing, after 5,000 years, I'm free! Out early for good behavior. It was 10,000 in the show. No one come at me in the comments. I know my Power Rangers. Anyway. So we made this joke, like, what would the world of Faerun look like in 5,000 years? And I think I was the only one who knew anything about it at that point. Because someone was like, what would the world even be like in 5,000 years? And I just go, Shadowrun?
You're just like, I need a new book now.
So for those of you not aware, Shadowrun is basically our world, but magic is back, magical creatures are back, and corporations run everything. So the only difference is the magic part between our world and that one. We're sitting there going, we're not learning a whole new system. We have to find some way to fix this.
Fortunately, Vega texted us back and had him come in, do a little boop to Theamin to get everybody else up. But Tizelle and Thok were literally sitting there going, well, fuck. Do we just step forward, take a deep breath, and join them?
That's true. They're like, we're not finishing this dungeon alone. We'll be there in 5,000 years. Oy. But yeah. So I guess my advice as a DM on this one, what I learned is don't read the dungeon and change things. Fine. Don't change things on the fly if you don't know what's going on. I was an experienced DM. I had completed a campaign already. I had run other things. I was not, just some schmuck with a book thinking I could DM. I had years of experience, and I thought, I can do this on the fly. And
yeah,
wrong.
It's a low-level dungeon. It's fine. It can't possibly be that bad. It was.
It was that bad. So, no matter how good you think you are, Gary Gygax created the Tomb of Horrors for the sole purpose of humbling people like me. Oh, you'll never kill my level 20 whatever. Oh yeah? Save versus death, bitch. Or save versus Shadowrun in this case. So, as a dungeon master, yes, you may be more powerful than gods, but no humility. It's a good thing to have in your tool belt.
And in maybe 5,000 years we'll tell you another story.
Oh god, please not that long between them. Our editor will kill us. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dungeon Master's Corner. I have been Brian.
And I've been Nicole.
And we look forward to having you join us in our next episode. Bye!
Bye!
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dungeon Master's Corner. If you'd like to support us, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Reliably Chaotic so we can buy a couple scrolls of restoration. Is that an option for getting up in the morning? We're going to need a lot. You can also drop us a line on Twitter at Reliably Chaotic. We'd love to hear from you.